for a little while.
Our chat still isn't working. Alright, so we have only 4 people who submitted questions here. But they look like they're all good questions, so I'll let you pick one.
Alright, okay, here's a good question. How could soO have made a better approach to the engagement where the storms were dropped? Like that. So that was the last engagement, that game decided one where he lost all the Brood Lords. And I think that his attack angle didn't make sense there, right? He was attacking the 4th base. He could have just come around behind the 4th, and then he would have had like he could have spread the Brood Lords around behind the mineral line.
Yeah.
It would have been like untouchable. Had a high ground, you know, a lot of the ground units would have been bugged by the Nexus and the probes and mineral AI. If he then had fungals, he could also fungal the probes there as well. It would have been a lot of cool stuff there, but instead he kind of approached his Brood Lord army to the ground army, and he felt he had to go on the ramp, so he stayed in a spot where his stalkers could blink them easily, and he clumped the Brood Lords massively. And so even though there's not a vortex, you still want to spread them out against Psystorm, because Psystorm actually just weakened him up so much that the stalkers can control work of them. Then of course the other problem is that he didn't really, he should have put infested Terrans underneath the Brood Lords. He threw out a bunch that were like way too far forward, so he just died instantly to Colossi. Whereas ideally you want the brood leans to tank the Colossi and infested Terrans.
Yeah.
So kind of did everything a little bit. Just he didn't, you know, it was the micro and then the position. Biggest thing is spreading the Brood Lords and use infested Terrans still better. I think.
Yeah. No. Very well said. I think you know, soO could have done a lot of things better there. You know, whenever you have like 15 Brood Lords and 15 infestors, your opponent doesn't have a mothership. It's pretty much going to come down to something you did wrong, I think.
Yes.
Rather than the product right.
Or a combination.
Sure, of course. That's Oz. Done that very, very well.
The storms were just spot on.
But here we are on Daybreak.
Against Oz yet again.
Yep, soO in the top right, Oz in the bottom left. We have seen a PvZ with soO on the map today.
That's true.
MC.
Against MC.
Where MC did an immortal
And soO lost.
soO did a boom.
He went.
He maxed in 12 minutes.
Went 1-1 versus MC. Maybe he'll go 1-1 versus Oz. Rainbow loses one. We'll have to find out. Well, I mean, the max in 12 minutes is not that impressive for a player of this level. I mean,
well,
most of them max before 11, if you don't.
Before 11?
Yes, before 11
In
is standard.
an actual game?
Yes.
Or they really try?
In an actual game, if a Zerg is massing roaches, they should max at the pro level. They should max before 11 if there's not early game shenanigans. Of course, that game maxed at 12, but he built units early to try to do a counterattack, and then he had already lost 20 units. He already lost probably about 20 through the units before that point. So
My PR is like 12:30 when I go against a very easy AI, and I just don't make links early, just Joe. Then I go 3 hatch before full.
a lot of little small things. I mean, even most foreign pros, very few foreign pros can max before 11. I think Rec can, Scarlet can, Stefano can. Nurcho, I think. But most foreign pros can't max before 11. Every second, you know, once you get to a certain point, every second to shave off gets harder and harder. It's kind of like if you're really good at running, right? Going from like 8 minutes to 7.
I ran track in high school, so I can relate 100% to that.
Way easier to drop a minute when you're bad, and it's the better you get, right? It definitely is. Each little tiny detail only helps you a tiny amount. But that's what, I mean, these guys are pros. That's what they do. It's the
nice
little details.
Sneak by with these links.
Yeah. He's getting a lot of information here. He's been annoying, too. He's a lot of...
We're gonna go
I don't think he's done so.
I could just hit Control R.
What's this? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, another 2. Wow. It's pretty rare. This is Austin making some mistakes there if the Zerglings.
There's the Zealot. Leave my brothers alone.
Yeah.
Not the brothers. Leave my
well,
cousins alone.
Yeah. They're robots. Probes are. They don't really have, but they're like defending robots. They're like Wally.
Right.
Yeah. So you still care for them. It's not like your computer, where your computer gets sold, you either sell it or you throw it away, depending on how old it is, right? Or you donate it. You do something like that.
So there's no familial relationships
With the computer. With the probes, I think there is.
among each probe? But they all come from an assembly line.
Yeah, but
Don't give 'em
I mean,
on.
you've seen like Futurama, right?
Unless you count the mothership.
Like
Why do they call them
Bender
motherships?
definitely feels like he's got brothers. Drama.
Fair enough.
It can happen. It depends on the assembly line. If they inject into them a little bit of individuality, stamp the
Personality.
little personality stamp,
Huh.
it's a different one.
I think
Oz is
my probes are all jerks because they never mine the minerals I want them to mine. So,
they've all been stamped with a jerk personality.
yeah.
Now Oz was he able to sneak that probe by there? I saw there was a probe there. I couldn't tell if Sue was able to snipe it or not. It looks like Snoo did snipe it.
Yeah,
Sue did snipe it. So Oz was trying to escort that probe around to scare Sue. Of course, this is the build Oz is famous for, this fast third build. I really like this build. It's so cool.
Why do you like it so much, Mr. Axslav?
Because I like building probes, and this is like... I like building probes and observers, like my two favorite units, right?
Me too.
And this is the build that optimizes those two units like to the highest level. Like he has the expansion, but he gets a really fast robo too. I mean, you build the Nexus before the robo, but you
Look at that. He like had a perfect spot
Yep.
for the cannon there. We're supposed to be looking at two.
well, I just want to talk about Oz build for a second. I mean, I'm done now. You
Okay.
but I also want to talk about that build. It's such a cool build. You can download like he does that like 1 out of 3 games where it serves, especially on a map like Daybreak. It'd probably be about 2 out of 3 games. But I think it's a fun build because and it's so like I've seen him win a lot of games and Zerg try to get like mass speeds to counter it because the building placement is like impenetrable, you know, with the cannon there, and then even he builds his second, third pylons to help off. So of course Sue actually got roaches early. That may be the hole in this build. Some nice force fields though, but
Oh, he's out of force fields.
units are kind of huddling into one, like they're like, this is the one spot where he can't be hit too much. Zell Warp and try to protect him. Does he have an Immortal out?
I don't think. Oh, just now in production. Units tab shows not of a more warm field, and all the sentries are dead.
Looks like he might be able to barely hold this with Warping though.
I think
Wow,
the
this was a
damage has already
close
been-
defense.
The damage has already been done though for Sue.
How much did he kill? Any workers?
He
Right?
killed all the sentries, man.
Oh yeah. But I mean, he's got so much more gas than normal. He's already got his gas plan. I mean, losing the sentries is not good, but Sue also sacked a lot of workers to get those units out that fast. Right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty big commitment. It's hard to tell. I wouldn't. I mean, Oz is only down by like 20 food, and this is 3-base Protoss with, you know, decent tech first. I guess Sue now is getting Tunneling Claws and Pro Nest Infestation. But he's not doing the mass roach all in. Oh, there's no Zell in the wall. Man, you know what? That's a cool move because I think Oz actually earlier in the game had a unit blocking that spot, but he moved it off that spot to help defend the third, right? And I think this is a realization by Sue. This wasn't like a normal game like, oh, just forgot to put his out there. He had everything at the third because it was just under such pressure, like you said, there was so much damage being done there. And Sue kind of realized that might promote an opportunity to strike him. Look how he runs the 2 zealots in a circle with the Zerglings.
You know what's great about this for Sue?
What's great?
You're about to find out.
Oh, he's gonna burrow these guys?
I hope so.
Maybe. Oh, I don't. I think.
At least burrow the link.
Oh, yep. The Zerg. Save the one Zerg against the. Oh, that poor. He's hiding underground as like a giant immortal. Look how big the immortal is compared to the Zerg. Holy moly! I would not want to be burrowed there.
He's very scared.
But
Observer.
he's massing up a lot of.
Observer's close by.
Oh, the observer's coming. Poor Zerg. But he did his job, right? Because meanwhile, that observer was not spotting the giant army amassing in front of Oz's base.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I say giant, but it's actually not even much as Zerg.
Well, it's 12:48, and by Axslav's logic, every Zerg should be maxed.
Well, no. You're going for hero Zerg.
Wow, what great force shields there from Oz.
Yeah, totally trapped those guys. Nice to burrow. Why not? They wouldn't do much anyway. We had 130 food. But he's got a good number in faster. But you know, Oz is even in food too. I think a lot of that's because of the opening, right? It looked like it was scary with the damage being dealt, but Sue, I think he was on low drones for most of the opening. I mean, now he's up to 72, but I think through most of it, he was probably on like around 60 workers. And Zerg does not want to be at 60 workers or 3-base Protoss.
Yeah.
And he was hoping that Roach Zerg attack could do a lot more than it did, and it was so close to really getting into doing critical damage. But Just barely not quite enough there, and that's Oz's strength, is these builds. He just doesn't die. He's like
I thought he was gonna try to be aggressive there, but he's backing up. Sharking.
yeah. Just making sure there's nothing there. Maybe trying to screw him. Is Oz taking? No, he's not taking it fourth. Oz is gonna gear it for 3-base timing. That's what he does. From this build, it's always a 3-base. Oh, what? There's a fake fourth.
He has 80 probes.
Really?
Yeah.
80? Oh, you're right. Okay. Never mind. I lied.
Oh.
Bunch of spine crows going up there. Nice sleeps the spine crows. Also can really get access to them. Is soO really gonna try to attack this? This is brave move by our Zerg player. Really good fungals on the massive clump there, but
he's like even pulled his camera back to control the main army.
yeah.
Oh, but I think
a good number of infestors.
Got to burrow and get out of there.
He actually did a lot with the fungals. If he gets away with the infestors, which he is, most of them, I think he lost maybe 3 there, but that wasn't a terrible trade. Because he mostly lost units that have lesser value, right? Roaches, beatings. He didn't take much damage in the main. Very elegantly defended there.
He's gonna kill that Warpism.
He is, I mean, that's the... I guess Oz is busy trying to not die.
Yeah.
Too busy to look at that War Prism.
Oh. Should have burrowed in there.
Yeah. He just...
There's a link burrowed at the top left there.
There is.
So it might be a little bit off.
There was one burrowed at the 4th. Or no. Just hanging out there keeping track of things. It looks like soO... Did he lose the Spire? Or did he forget to build it? That's a good question. I think he might have lost one. The one Warpins in the main. Maybe that's... Because or maybe he just made a mistake. He could have just forgotten it for this long. But that's definitely a mistake. He's got Hive, and even if he didn't have Hive, he'd want to...
It's gonna delay his...
He'd want the Corruptors. Yeah.
That much more.
And this is going to make those Colossi from Oz very scary. And Oz now has a supply advantage. Of course, the reason he does is because Susan playing all his money on Spine Crawlers, not on units.
Yep.
So that's why that supply advantage is there. But the Colossi, as Oz increases that Colossi count, the Spine Crawlers aren't going to be super effective. Oz still on defense, so trying to get that 4th pick.
Alright, so basically I feel like soO is just going to keep trying to buy time for his Broodlord tech. Starting up 2-2. Once the Spire finishes, I expect we're going to immediately see a Greater Spire in production. That make the most sense. He has 1600 gas.
That could be a lot of Infestors, a lot of Broodlords. There's a Corruptors. He definitely needs at least... There's a Greater Spire too. But I think, the Corruptors will be out before the Greater Spires them, but he needs to get a bunch of Corruptors to kill the Colossi anyway. But that's a really damage. 3 Colossi going to work. All Spears... He cannot... Is he going to try to engage us?
I don't think he can.
Oh, nice blink by Oz. 3 Infestors, 4 Infestors going down. He focused all the high energy ones. This is unfortunate. Yeah.
So he needs those Corruptors, man.
I feel like his army's getting cleaned up, but it's actually doing decent.
Oz
No, never mind.
now.
Yeah.
Well, once those Corruptors get out, but the Infestors are out of energy now.
Yeah, Infestors out of energy. That's pretty huge. He's got to give up this 4th, I guess. Got to buy him some time. And goes.
Run them away.
I feel like he needs those speedlings to be utilized for once he's able to kill the Colossi with the Corruptors, right?
And they're getting 2-2. Kill the Colossus, let the Lings clean up the Stalkers, or at least attempt to.
Yeah, the Infestors already can mop up the non-Colossus part of the army. I'm not anymore because they have no energy. There's not that many Zergs, but I think previously they could have. As it is now, Oz is an extremely scary army, and he's up 60 food to boot pretty much, so. Yeah, it's nice soO has the Greater Spire done now, but he can't even afford to get many Broodlords, at least in the mineral count. I think this all comes down to the fact he was on a relatively low working count the whole game. I don't think even late game he was only like 70, so he couldn't really afford a lot of stuff.
I mean, it all came down to that opening, I think.
Oz's defense at 3rd is just stellar.
All right, so that I think that concludes things, guys.
We'll do one more.